All right, I'll go ahead and let us get started. So we're going to hear from Denise first, and then we'll hear from Michelle, and then Lindsay. Lindsay
That's
and
fine.
then Michelle. Thank you. And then we'll hear from Lindsay and then Michelle. All of them will be available if you want to connect on LinkedIn. If you have questions afterwards, we'll have a recording of this whole session available after, posted on our YouTube, so you can go there. There's old Impact Labs from years before, and you can also reach out for their contact info, and I'm happy to share that with you guys. Sweet. All right, we'll get started with Denise.
Thank you, Erin. Hi, everyone. My name is Denise, and I'm going to talk a little bit about Beaver Builder. Beaver Builder is the tool that your websites are built with. So at one point, you might want to go into Beaver Builder and make some adjustments to your pages. And I'm going to show you the most common scenarios. So I'm hoping that you all see my screen right now. So when you log into WordPress, all of your websites are running on WordPress. You will see this super confusing dashboard, but don't worry. All you have to navigate to is Pages, and click on that. And here you can see all the pages the teams have built for you. Now, your home page is usually marked with front page. For this tutorial, I built a separate page. Let's just imagine this is your homepage. So first, when you click on that page, you will see what the 48 and 48 team has built for you. But then again, you might want to change something, right, at one point. So all you have to do is really you click on this Beaver Builder button here. You don't have to select header or footer. You just click on it here. Now, let's walk through the elements or the sections that the 48 and 48 team may have built for you. First, you have a hero section, then probably how what your nonprofit is doing, how users can get involved. You have a donation call to action. Maybe you have events coming up and an introduction of who you are. Now, in case you want to change your headline, so for example, you see here, you have a date, maybe you want to change it and say, okay, this event is actually starting on May 1 and ends May 12 or 21, it's fine. So I was a bit quick, but all you have to do is really, you hover over those elements and then you click on this wrench here, and now you can edit that element. So here you have a simple text field. As you just saw, I just edited the date. You can bold it, italic, whatever you want to do. Almost anything is possible in a text editor, and then you save. And that goes for almost everything that I'm going to show you now in this session. For example, you can do even more with the headlines, right? So let's go into this hashtag here for the Women's Build event. Again, you click on the orange, go to style, and here you can say, well, actually, I want to give it a little bit of color, right? So you can select any color you want in the spectrum here. Or if you have, for example, a color scheme that a designer prepared for you, you can copy paste the hex code in here. So let's select green. It's not nice, but you know where I'm getting. So you can change the color here. And let's say, for example, let's say if the date is a little bit small. So I'm going into the text editor setting as well. So now here, we just discussed color. You can also change the font size. So you can say, for example, let's make this 25. So let's see, that did not save. 50. Let's see. Sometimes you just need to clear your cache. Okay, that did not work in the headline. It should work for you. This website has a lot of CSS already attached to it, so it might be related to that. But I'm just going into this text editor here, and you see it changes the font size. It was very small before, and now it's 20 pixels. And you can do that with nearly every text editor or headline. So you can make this 35, not very nice. Let's make this 20 as well. And that's how you can change color and the font size of your text editor fields. So really everything. Heading, you can also change the color and the font size. And you can do even more like text shadow, etc., which can get a little bit fancy, and you might want to hold off on too many design changes, as it can change, the overall design that the 48 and 48 team created for you. Now, let's talk a little bit more about, for example, the hero here. You see when I scroll over the hero, there's an image in the background that floats really nicely. This is called parallax. Now, it can be that you don't care so much about images in your hero. So here the image sits in the row. So this is not a module, it's the background. So all the modules, they sit on top of the background. So the background here, you can hover here on the right or left side, far outside of the area. And then you see there is a box that opens up or is being highlighted. So here you also can click on the wrench here, very simple. And there the style tab opens. And you see in my example for here, this is called parallax. And there's a photo in the background. And also on top of that, there's a gradient overlay. Now let's say you just want to have a color. You can go in here and background type, say color. And then you can pick again a color from the spectrum or any color you want, essentially. Looks a bit, I would say, not so fancy. So you could also say you want to have just a photo, right? You can change the photo to, where are the ladies? Let's say this one here. You can pick any photo, and there you go. Sometimes the photos are a little bit too bright, so you can give it a little bit of overlay. Common overlay would be black, but then obviously you have to decrease the opacity. So now you can see the text a little bit better. And this is a photo. As you can see, the background is not moving anymore because we changed it from parallax to photo. All right. So moving on. Let's see here. Let's go a little bit down. All of your websites, all of your home pages should have a call to action section, such as you can see here. Probably in your case, it would say something like, instead of register now, it would say donate now. So again, I'm being a little bit quick here. Here's how you can change the button. Again, click on the wrench here, go to general, and then you can change the text and you can say donate now. And then it might be that your donation page is on PayPal or Donobox. Oops, sorry. And you just grab that link from PayPal or Donorbox and you just paste it in here. If it really sits on Donorbox or PayPal, I would always recommend to open that page in a new window. So you can save this one here. Let me show you real quick. And now that button is leading to donor box. And that's how you can change buttons. Now, let's say, for example, you want to have another donate button on your homepage. You feel like there are not enough donate buttons. You don't have to recreate the button, right? All you have to do, if there is any section on your website that you would like to duplicate, you can just click on the duplicate button, and the style and everything is the same. And then you grab it and you move it. Let's say, for example, I want to put it here, and you want to align it to the left side. So you click the wrench here, go to style and left, and done. And that's how you can duplicate a button without redesigning one that you can pick from all the modules that are available. So there are two more things that I want to show you. So let's say, for example, you have created a nice video for your nonprofit, and you want to put that right next to the donation call to action. So this is an image right now, but you want to have a video. So as I mentioned previously, Beaver Builder comes with a lot of modules, and they are available here when you click the plus, and you see a lot of modules that you can pick. So in this case here, we want to insert a video. So we grab it, drag and drop it right in here. And in video type, we want to embed, because most likely your video, you uploaded it to YouTube. So here I just grabbed a kitten cuddling with ducklings and a bunny, because Easter is around the corner. Oops. All you have to do, sorry, I'm being quick again. You go to share, embed, and you grab the code here. Copy paste in here. And let's imagine this is your nonprofit video. You remove the image, and there you go. You have a video right next to your call to action to donate. And then you save it by publishing it. And there it is. Now, one more thing before I hand it back to Erin. So probably your team will grow at one point, right? So in case you featured your team members are being featured on your nonprofit website, and you're 4 now, but then another team member joins, which would be great. You want to add their picture. Again, you don't have to select image here. You don't need this. All you have to do is, again, you duplicate, and then you move it right next to it. Oops, no, that was not it. Sorry. Actually, you do have to do a little something. So here we have 4 images. So all you have to do here is row, you grab 5, all right? And you drag and drop it into this section here. And now you can move the images into the 5 buckets. You see already how nicely it's being resized. Again, delete all of those empty buckets. And now for the new team member, just duplicate this image. You can duplicate any image from the team members. You go to the wrench, and then say, for example, here, general edit. Let's see, I think, yeah, here is another photo, and save. And there it goes. Everyone has the same style because it is cropped in a circle. So you don't have to do lots of resizing. Beaver Builder does it all for you. Okay. So I know time is short. One more thing. You can also animate headlines. I know this is a feature a lot of people like, me included. You can do this here over any module, but I'll show you with the video. You can animate it here in advanced, and then you can say you want to fade it in. Well, let's make it a little bit more obvious, bounce in. It's not the nicest, but just for the tutorial purpose, and we'll publish the page. And there you saw it already bouncing in. Let me refresh this page one more time. And now I'll scroll down, and here it is. So you can animate a lot of stuff on your website as well. Just a recommendation, I probably wouldn't animate it too crazy and not animate everything, but a little bit of animation can make your website nice and agile. But I'm sure the 48 and 48 team already has implemented a couple of animations for you. All right, so that's it from me. I'm handing it back over to Erin. And again, if you have any questions, you can reach out to me. Denise Hanft is my name. And also the presentation will be made available for you.
Thanks so much, Denise. We appreciate it so much. All right, next is, all right, don't let me get it wrong. Next is Lindsay. Where are you? Here's Lindsay.
Can you see me?
Yep, we can see you.
Okay.
All right,
Hi.
I'm here and I'll bring your screen up.
Okay. Am I ready?
Yep, you're good to go.
All right. Hi, everyone. My name is Lindsay Macbeth. I'm the principal founder and designer for Lindsay Macbeth Designs. And I am going to be sharing with you, a little intro course to web accessibility and easy ways to implement it today. So generally in this presentation, I'm going to introduce you to like the definition and what that entails for web accessibility, the prevalence of disabilities in the United States, benefits to web accessibility, understanding web accessibility, designing for web accessibilities, the very easy to do's and very just like important resources. Web accessibility refers to the inclusive practice of removing barriers that prevent interaction with or access to websites by people with disabilities. This means from the get-go, prioritizing equal access to information and functionality, being proactive in those kind of design decisions rather than reactive designs and development to work for all for websites, and keeping in mind that it's not just helpful for some, it's helpful to all, these general principles. 1 in 4 adults in the United States have some type of disability. That means 61 million adults in the United States are living with a disability, and a larger percentage of those live in the South. That's, a lot of people to potentially leave out and exclude if your website is not accessible. And 90% of websites today are inaccessible to people with disability who rely on assistive technology to navigate. And the ADA, I found a statistic saying that in the last 5 years, the amount of lawsuits that they're bringing, this is not for like web nonprofits or anything, but for like larger companies, has gone up about 150%. And those major corporations can expect to pay $55,000 to $75,000 if their websites are found to be inaccessible. And it's important to keep in mind that, disability impacts us all. to some degree, either us personally or someone we know. And I kind of outlined here, the most common disabilities that people have, starting with about 12% for mobility, 11% cognitive, about 8% independent living as our population ages, and 7% hearing, and about 5% vision. I don't want to really go into much how accessible websites will improve your search engine optimization. I will leave that up to the next presenter. This kind of ties in some of these to-dos with search engine optimization. So you might be hearing a little bit of repeat kind of information. But, the major benefits to web accessibility is improved PR and reputation. You'll be seen as an ally to a large community. That's a lot of people who can become volunteers, a lot of people who can be donating to your organization, a lot of organizations that you could be partnering with. That's a large slice to potentially leave out if your website is inaccessible. And web accessibility includes considering the needs for the visual community, the hearing impaired community, those with motor issues, and cognitive. And by cognitive, I mean that's a wide array that includes like the design needs for someone with anxiety or someone with autism spectrum. And each of these have specific design needs. And I'm just going to be covering kind of overarchingly kind of things to consider and easy ways to implement it, today to your website. But first, I kind of want to touch on some of the barriers these communities face. For the blind and visually impaired, users require assistive technology to read websites. Major things that can be improved upon easily: color contrast, enlarging font sizes, including alt text, and making sure that your websites are keyboard assistive are huge. For motor disabilities, they generally use a computer mouse and require for those tasks to not be timed to navigate your website. So making sure that, similar to the visual, that everything is keyboard and mouse accessible is huge for these two communities. For the auditory community, basically things that are barriers for them: not providing captions or transcripts of videos. And for the cognitive community, using difficult language or having a lot of different visual stimuli that could be distracting, or long paragraphs instead of like bulleted bite-sized chunks, makes websites inaccessible for that community. So WCAG is a organization that provides guidelines on accessibility and things to consider, and their 4 guiding principles are making sure that your websites are perceivable, operable, understandable, and robust. And by that I mean, for perceivable, the content must be available to users via sight, hearing, and touch. For operable, the product must be keyboard accessible, navigable, and compatible with different input methods. For understandable, that means, you know, it must be readable, the navigation must be predictable and simple, with clear labels and instructions and language, and robust. The product must work with a variety of assistive technologies, browsers, and devices. And I wanted to include these posters I found on, this is actually a UK government accessibility website guidelines of do's and don'ts to consider. These might seem like a lot of things to consider, so I'm just kind of showing these and going to be focusing on 6 easy things to implement and focus on rather than 20 different things, but just wanted to show for each of these communities major design helpful principles of what to do that you can reflect on and look back on internally later. So again, like for the auditory impaired community, predictable layout, captions, transcripts, or if you have someone who can potentially help with sign language, you know, including that as an option as well in your video content. For physical disabilities, ensuring that there are shortcuts that can be easily navigated to via a mouse or keyboard. Designing with a mobile and touchscreen, and really ensuring maximum clickable input and large kind of input boxes. And the big one for here for screen readers is really focusing on diversifying font sizes. So having like multiple headers and prioritization of content and paragraph sizes, considering that from a layout perspective, and providing customized alt images for transcripts and for videos. And yeah. Oops, sorry, I went backwards. Oh no, shoot. I apologize, some technological issues. I'm not sure why. The easy to-dos today that I included were adding alt text for images, avoiding using color alone to convey information, using textures instead of color on charts, using contrasting colors for better readability, using captions and subtitles on videos and podcasts, and captions and subtitles on any other kind of auditory input, and fixing hyperlinks. Ugh. And if you have any questions, let me know. You know, I'm here to help, and all these resources will be available in the presentation. Thank you.
Oops, was on mute. Thanks so much, Lindsay. We really appreciate you making that presentation. And yes, like she said, there's plenty of resources available, and a reminder to any volunteers who are on the call with us that we have accessibility resources for you throughout your build as well. So make sure you're checking those out. And if you're a nonprofit, you're of course welcome to use those as well for whatever you need. I'll bring us to our last presenter, Michelle.
Hello. All right. Oh, perfect. Okay. So hello, I'm Michelle. I'm here for search engine optimization. I am an editor and I'm an SEO, which is kind of a weird combination. I started off as an editor. I edited websites, and then I realized, wow, when you change the words on websites, Google really notices. So I'm just here to teach you about the absolute basics of SEO. I can't actually teach you how to do SEO in 20 minutes, but I just want to put it on your radar as something that kind of comes along with having a website, so that you can know what it is and whether this might be something that's worth it for your organization. So the goal of this presentation is not to teach you how to do it. It is really just to teach you that it exists and the basic outline of what is included. So basically that you can decide whether this is a marketing strategy that you want to pay attention to or one that you don't want to pay attention to. So what is search engine optimization? Search engine optimization scares a lot of people. And people perceive it to be very technical, like all about page speed and code and all this kind of stuff. And to be fair, it used to be very much about that kind of stuff. Increasingly, though, Google understands web pages so much better. And really, search engine optimization is just about creating a website that Google understands so that Google can send you the right people to your site at the right time. So it's just a way to be more visible online. And it's kind of a lot easier than it used to be because Google is just so much better at understanding websites. And many, many, many of the things that you will do to make your website better for people is going to be what's making your website better for Google as well. So accessibility and all those alt tags, absolutely. But even just having helpful pages is helpful to your people and also helpful to Google. So how do we use the internet? Keywords. We all sort of know how to use Google, that we all do. So the basics of it is we put words into a search box and then we press go and then we get 10 results. And so search engine optimization is kind of enhancing the chances that you end up being one of the 10 results when something you care about has been typed in. I have an asterisk here with what is a keyword because technically most of the time we're putting in key phrases. Like it's very rare actually that we just put in one word. I'm going to say keyword throughout this presentation, but just keep in mind that it's rarely just one word. So keywords, how people find things on the internet. I'm going to read aloud this list of real keywords, and I want you to think about two things. So first, I want you to think, what is this person actually wanting? Like, what's the question behind this somewhat random string of words? And then the second thing is, who is that person? And it's really just an imagination game to try to figure out what type of person would be searching this thing. And then for your nonprofit, is that the type of person that we want to have on our website or not? So here is an example. They're all environmentalist sort of kind of terms. World Wildlife Fund, WWF. Are pandas endangered? Why are pandas endangered? Panda habitats. Donate WWF. How many pandas left? Donate conservation.org. And then this one here, environmental internships DC. So those are all real keywords, things people type in all the time to the Google search box. Now, that is an unordered list. I'm going to teach you about 3 buckets of keywords that I want to put on your radar. So bucket number 1 is called navigational keywords. So these are the types of words that we put into Google when we're really just using it like a phone book. Very few people are going to be typing in your whole domain name, www all the way to the .com or the .org at the end. Most of the time, people just use Google because it's quicker and easier. So when people type in World Wildlife Fund, they get the World Wildlife Fund. That's very, very likely to be the first result. When people type in WWF, and people type in acronyms all the time on the internet because we're very lazy typers. But when people type in WWF, maybe they want the World Wildlife Fund, maybe they want the World Wrestling Federation. So it's a fun little thing. Check that one out yourself and you'll find out that you actually get a mixed result. So Google has to figure out, and then, it's a choose your own adventure. Once you've gone there, people just find the thing that they're looking for. To be very clear, you need to do nothing to your website. The website that is being made for you right now will rank for your branded terms basically within 2 to 6 months automatically. You don't need to do any search engine optimization for the people who specifically are looking for you to find your site. The only exception is if you have a brand name, if your nonprofit is called something, that's a little bit ambiguous. So if you give shoes to kids in schools or something like that, and your organization is called New Shoes, well, that's going to be a bit of a problem because most people that search new shoes are looking to buy new shoes. And so it's going to be very hard to rank number 1 for new shoes because that's a really commercial keyword. But other than that, don't worry about it. Pretty much all the time, all of your acronyms, all of the people that work at your organization, these are the types of things that you're likely to just happen naturally. That's just how Google works. So if you only care about navigational keywords, then you really need to do no SEO at all. It's probably just going to happen. The second bucket is a little bit more interesting. Transactional keywords. So transactional keywords are all of the phrases that we use when we're looking to do something online. So obviously donating to an organization would be do something, but also signing petitions, applying for internships, getting people to vote. Like there's lots of things that we do online, transactional things. So here's some examples. Donate to WWF, Conservation Org Donate, and Environmental Internships DC. So donate to WWF. I mean, it doesn't matter because that WWF is there. That WWF website is going to get that traffic regardless. It would be nice if Google sent that traffic right to your donate page, but it's at least going to go to your homepage. Conservation Org Donate is more interesting because think about the person who might be searching this. They want to donate to a conservation organization. They've got money burning a hole in their pocket and they don't know who they're going to donate to yet. So this is potentially a very valuable keyword for a conservation organization. So it's the type of thing that you might want to go after and rank more highly for if this was what your people might be searching. And then the last one here is Environmental Internships DC. And I put that there to say that not everything is money. If you run an environmental internship in DC and you know people are searching for that, then you probably do want to have a page on your site that's dedicated to that group of people so that you get more and better applications every year. Like people are looking for this information and your website can be a source of that information. And then you're also likely to get more applications. And then lastly, we have information. So the last bucket is really all about how we use the internet almost for 90% of the stuff, which is we're looking for information. So the examples in this one would be, are pandas endangered? Why are pandas endangered? Panda habitats and how many pandas left. So are pandas endangered and why are pandas endangered? Those probably go on the same page on your site. Like it's hard to imagine writing an article that doesn't hit on both of those things, that wouldn't satisfy both of those people. Panda habitats, on the other hand, is a little different. Those people are not really talking about endangered or not. They really just want to know where the pandas live. And so in order to rank well for that type of a keyword, you need to make sure that right up top, you give people maybe a list of panda habitats, some pictures of panda habitats, a map with places in the world where the pandas live. And then you can get into your mission. So if your mission is about saving the pandas, then you can get into the conservation and the endangered issues and all that kind of stuff. But for Google and really for your users too, you kind of have to satisfy them with what they ask for. And then you can move them to your mission as an organization. Then the last one, how many pandas left? I bring that one up because as an SEO, that how many is like, ding, ding, ding. Google is looking for a number. So you can't answer that question and you won't rank for that question very well unless you actually have a number. Google really doesn't have a sense of humor. So make sure that in those types of articles, you're really clear and have a sentence in there that says something like, there used to be 6,000 pandas in wild. And now since this and this happened, now scientists only think that there's 4,000. And then you have a nice citation to really show that you've done your homework. That's the type of content that Google's looking for, that's got citations and is really expert and is really thorough and is really helpful to the people that are answering the questions, but also they're looking for a number. So if you kind of danced around it and never gave a number, you probably wouldn't actually get that traffic. So those are your 3 buckets of keywords. Informational keywords, while they might not, turn into donations for you, many of your organizations likely have an educational mission. And so it's important to do informational content as well, because that's part of that's a big part about how people find out information and self-educate is the internet. So it's just good to have informational content that really speaks to the things that you want to be an authority in online. It's a worthwhile investment. Now, keywords. There are ways to find out what people search on the internet. There's databases, you can search keyword research. There's so much information online on how to do this kind of research. You can also obviously hire people to do this kind of research for you. But the first thing, the kind of the starter version, is to go figure out what keywords your website is ranking for naturally. So I highly recommend that you go and sign up for Google Search Console. That's a free tool that's given by Google. It's really easy to set up. It's practically one click. And then they're going to start telling you about what keywords people typed before they landed at your website, like what keywords are attracting people to your site. And that's a really good way to figure out how well Google understands your site, what Google thinks your site is about, and then you can start, optimizing so that you maybe get more of that kind of traffic. I don't have time to explain how to do that here, but I do have a free training. And so this link will be shared to editedbymichelle.com/keywords-course-sign-up. And it's just 7 short video lessons, and you can learn how to do that. And I also show both how to use the dashboard as well as a little tricks on how to kind of make the most out of it. So that's keywords. Now, here. So everything I've talked about so far is optimizing your own site. So you have total control over your own site. I mean, you get to decide what's there and decide what's not there. That's called, in the SEO world, that's called on-site SEO. So all the stuff that you do on your site is on-site SEO. Now, SEO is more than just what's on your site, because the internet is a community. And so all the things that happen off your website, that is off-site SEO. And basically the way the internet works is links. So the internet, the World Wide Web, that web part is links from one website to another. So here's one important thing to take away. Links from other people's websites, links from other reputable websites to your site boost your website's authority, because it's like a vote of confidence. Like if another website is linking to your website, they're kind of telling their readers, their audience, we vouch for this site. It's a good site on the internet. We think you should go there. And basically, the more that other sites link to you as an authority, the better it is for you. So put most simply, your chances of ranking highly for that really valuable conservation org donate or whatever that is in your industry, in your niche, your chances go up the more authority that you have, because Google, those are really competitive keywords. And so Google puts sort of the more authoritative sites up front for those types of keywords. In the SEO jargon, this link, a link from somebody else's site to your site, is called a backlink, because they're linking back to you. So SEOs, like SEO agencies, people that will optimize your site for you, sometimes they offer to buy you links. You should not do that. That is not a good idea. So there are shady ways to get links on the internet to sort of artificially inflate your authority. There are also a lot of really totally legit ways to get more website authority. If you buy links, it does actually go against Google's guidelines. It sort of might work in the short term, might kind of be problematic in the long term. So I don't recommend it. But there's lots of really good ways to get links that are absolutely within Google's guidelines. And most of these are the types of networking and PR activities that you would just be doing anyways as an organization. But I just want you to think about, hey, how could we get a link out of that as well while you're sort of promoting your website? So the first one's really obvious. People link to really great stuff online. So if you're writing really great content that people want to link to, that's pretty much the holy grail. So some ways that you can encourage that is you can write linkable stuff, like statistics are very linkable. Journalists love to link to important statistics, original research, white papers, all that kind of stuff. Really, really good stuff that people want to link to or sort of have to link to because you were the source of the information. That can be a very good way to get links. Another way is media coverage. So, certainly if you're mentioned in your local newspaper and then there's a link to your website, that is fantastic for you. And especially if you have a local organization and you're really locally based, there is a geographic element. Like Google knows that local newspaper is based out of your town. And also Google then starts to associate your website with that town to a certain extent. So it can kind of like help you out locally. Or if you have a national or an international reach, then go ahead, do national and international sources. Another one is links from allied organizations or referral partners. So say you ran like a women's shelter. You probably have lots of other nonprofits that everybody works together to help the same person. And so those referrals, that kind of networking and relationships that you already have with other local organizations can be an important source of links. So I would encourage you to have a page on your website, which is like community resources. And then you link to all the people that you're always sending people to anyways. And then those organizations also have a page on their website that links back to your website. And the reason why this can be so significant is that you're kind of creating a web of trusted organizations. So it's super helpful for Google to like kind of put all these pieces together, as well as it's really helpful for the people that you serve, because then they can self-serve and they can find the things that they need immediately when they need it. So basically all the ways that you optimize your site, you always want to make sure, like, am I doing this just for Google, or is this genuinely helpful to the people that we serve? And if it is, then by all means, go ahead. And it's likely to be helpful for Google as well. Another one is grants and awards. So, I mean, obviously it's great to get grants and awards just because, but you also often get a link from the homepage or from like the sort of every year they have a new page that's dedicated to the people that won the award. That can be very helpful for your SEO and for your online authority. Another one is events. So like join the parade, go have a table at the next sort of industry event, all that kind of stuff can generate a link as well. Professional associations. So all the people in your organization, you know, the head people that kind of, you know, have different specialties, they really should be joining professional associations and then linking back either to the homepage, you know, on their profile page. They're going to have an opportunity to link back to the homepage of your organization. Or you might consider having pages dedicated to each of the main people in your organization, kind of like with their bio and what they do and sort of, you know, what their story is. That gives them a place to link to, which can sometimes be a lot easier to then, you know, everybody wants to put links to that one place online. So you can generate a lot of links that way. Another one is reputable online directories with an emphasis on reputable. So there are a lot of kind of shady online directories out there. And so if you're considering putting your website into a directory, just ask yourself, like, does this look like something I personally would use? Does this look like kind of useless? Or is this something that I think people are actually using and are actually finding organizations through? So like anything that's really specific to your industry is almost certainly a reputable online directory. But there's also just a lot of spam ones out there. And if you put your website into a spammy one, nothing bad happens. Google's just going to ignore it. But it's also a waste of time. And then another one here is expert guest articles. So posted on other people's sites. So you can write articles about something that you care about or about your organization, what you're doing, all that kind of stuff. And then offer, you know, a partner organization, especially these like allied organizations and referral partners. They're the types of places where you can say, oh, like we have this thing that we think that your people would be really interested in. Can we write about it for your website? And then that can give you a link, like in the bio, it'll say like by such and such, and then it's going to link back either to that author page or it's going to link back to the homepage. And then the last one, which you probably haven't heard of, is called Help a Reporter Out. It is a free service. It is very cool. And basically high-level publications, New York Times, Forbes, and also smaller publications, when journalists are writing articles and they need to quote a source, they quite often use Help a Reporter Out. And so 3 times a day, you will get this listserv, this email with all of the reporter questions. And you can respond to those questions directly to the reporter. And if they like your quote, they are likely to write back. They're likely to link back to your website. So you can Google like how to do Help a Reporter Out for links. And then you'll find a lot of good resources for how to maximize and how to get the most out of this. But it is free. Anyone can sign up. And the 2 tips that I'll leave for that one is answer really quickly, like get the email and answer within an hour, and you're much more likely because reporters are busy people. And also give the kind of firsthand perspective or give the sort of quotable quote that makes it really easy for them to write that article. If you can find it on Google yourself, if you can find the answer on Google yourself, that's not really what they're looking for. They're looking for the types of stuff that you can't Google. So if you have a really quick story that you can tell, or if you can add some color into it, that can really help you get those links. So Help a Reporter Out is a great resource. So we went over on-page SEO and keywords, and we went over off-page SEO and some of the ways that you can get links. And you can decide from here whether this is something that you really want to pay attention to or not. To be clear, you don't have to do it. And certainly as your site grows, it's likely to happen fairly naturally. But just to say that there are some things that you can do to help it along and kind of to speed up the process a bit. So this is my company. I'm edited by Michelle. I have a free consult on my website. So if you want to chat with me, I would be glad to chat with you. I work only on small sites. Like this is all of what I do. And that's my email there. So thank you for having me, and congratulations on your new website, and best of luck in your new rankings.
Thank you so much, Michelle. All right, I'm going to bring everybody back on. Actually, I think we lost Lindsay, but I'll bring Denise back on so y'all can just say your goodbyes. Thank you both so much for being here, and Lindsay as well. Thank you to everyone who tuned in, volunteers and nonprofits alike. I hope you're all having a great weekend. We are well on our way to getting 56 new profits, brand new sites. So we're really excited. Once again, I know Michelle had some links in her presentation that I will make sure to get out to all of you guys. And this recording will be available on our YouTube, and we'll also send it to you guys in the Slack channel and via email. And you can always reach out to either Mac or I if you need anything related to this or really at all. So thank you guys so much for being here. All right.
Thank you. Bye. Have a good weekend.